On the floor. Floor, I love to dance, so give me more. More till I can't stand, get on the floor. Floor like it's your last chance if you want more. More than here I am.
It's been a hard day's night and I've been working like a dog. More like sleeping like a log. Hi guys! Hi guys, hi, hi guys, hi. I am Hyper today, and you're gonna get it. Welcome back to another video. So, let me just put my hair back. Today, I have for you, it's Vietnam Palace. They make Vietnamese food and they make Thai food because I think pad Thai is Thai. I'm pretty sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but to drink, ice water. I have some shrimp spring rolls with some kind of sauce. It smells good. I have shrimp pad Thai. Yum, one of my favorites. I have some salad rolls with grilled chicken. It's wrapped in rice paper. It has rice noodles, mint, cilantro, lettuce, grilled chicken, and instead of peanut sauce, fish sauce. And the main reason I love salad rolls is because of the peanut sauce. So I'm kind of sad, but whatever. And I have sriracha. Oh, and I have a grilled chicken skewer. Ooh, I'm gonna try a bite of this right now. I'm so hungry. You know the deal. Beauty, beauty, bite. Mmm. Grilled chicken. They're so chewy. Dip, dip. Has a shrimp in it. So, I was going to make meatloaf. It's been defrosting in the fridge, I swear, for like 2 days. It was still frozen. So stupid me. I put it on the counter to defrost quicker. No, you're not supposed to, but I do that a lot when I want it to defrost quickly. I forgot about it. So it was warm, so I totally can't use it. I'm mad because I wasted. It's wasted. And also because it's the end of the world out there and the meat is like non-existent in the stores. I don't know when I'll be able to make meatloaf again. Oh well, maybe we'll have to be vegetarian. Maybe the vegetarian. So this is grilled chicken. Oh man, it's so good. I'm in love. Anyway, when I made the meatloaf, it triggered a memory. I think I told you briefly about my friend's boyfriend. It's hot. Shrimp. Anyway, I was gonna tell you guys a story about one of my childhood best friends, I guess. She started dating this guy who I'm gonna call the Meatloaf mobster. I'll tell you why. First, let me say that I don't know if you guys had any of these types of dudes in your hometown. My hometown, I consider it kind of like a crap hole. I know it might offend people who still live there, but I really didn't like living there. But I like going to visit. Anyway, we had this group of guys when I was in high school who... This is why I don't eat noodles more often on my channel. These guys thought... It was like a group of white dudes. Thought they were gangsters. They were always getting into trouble, like on purpose. You know, they were like proud of like their criminal records. For like no reason. If a cop drove by, they'd be like, you know, give them the finger and be like, F the popo. Even though the cops really never really did anything to them. Really. They were like wannabes. Badass gangster wannabes. And the Godfather, I'll call him that because most of the time everyone hung out at his place and he lived, there were these like housing projects geared to income. They were for lower income. And I'm in Canada, okay? I mean, my hometown is not the best, but it's not like Detroit or something. You know what I mean? Like, these guys would make songs and like compare, like they would try to rap and compare their like, they called it their ghetto. Compared it to like a Tupac song where Tupac grew up. Not even close! You know what I mean? Also, I called him the Godfather because, like, he thought he was, like, the Godfather. He thought, like, his little group was, like, a mafia. And this whole group of guys just treated women like objects. Like, they called them the B word. They dressed them as, like, their bitches and, like, you know what I mean? And, kept count of how many they hooked up with. Well, the Godfather guy was a bit different. Or at least he became that way when he met my friend. They fell in love pretty fast. I'm gonna call him the Godfather because they thought they were in a mafia and because of his voice. He talked like the Godfather from the movie. Like Marlon Brando. He would be like, I don't even know if I can do it, but hey, Chantel, you got a cigarette. He was like exactly, he reminded me of the slick weasel from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You know, the one that's like, I'm gonna take you and your laundry out to dry. He used to do weird things, like we'd be all hanging out in his room. And I tagged along because that was the only time I would get to see my friend. She was like my best friend, whom I seen every day. And since she met him, she was at his house every single day. His mom loved her. They would always just hole up in their room. Even at school, in high school, they would stand in the locker room area. It was called the zoo, because it smelled bad. It smelled like a zoo. They would be standing against her locker, like, the whole time. He'd be hovered over her, hands on her hips, and she'd be looking up at him, and that would be, like, their whole existence in high school. And I didn't have a boyfriend, so I guess I'll tag along with you guys and be the third wheel. Whenever they wanted private time. They would banish me to the spare room, which had just a sofa, and I'd be sitting there all mad. Like, why do I do this? Private time. At least it wasn't too long. Minuteman! Anyway, this guy, he was obsessed. Every time we went over, he'd be laying on his bed, smoking a cigarette, trying to, like, do shapes with the smoke, listening to All Eyes on Me. And that's what we would do. Like, honestly, he was the nicer of the bunch, and that's saying something, because he wasn't very nice at times. If you mess with him, he had to, like, show you, you know? So, like, sometimes we'd all be partying in his room, and, like, there's this one annoying party guy. If he was, like, acting up, acting like a bitch or whatever, they would banish him to the timeout room. No joke. Like, get over yourself. Oh, my God. Anyway, I feel bad for this guy's mother. This guy's mother just did her thing downstairs. His room was upstairs, and she didn't really... She just let us, like, do whatever in his room. Drink, smoke. He had a lot of respect for his mom, though. Like, you know, don't disrespect my moms. Probably beat them up. Anyway, Meatloaf reminded me of this guy because he would eat his mom's meatloaf a lot. So every time I eat meatloaf, I do get a flashback of him eating his meatloaf and, like, talking in the Godfather voice. You know, she'd be cooking it, and he'd be, like, we'd come in, and he'd be in the kitchen. She'd be chopping. She put, like, big chunks of onion like this in it. And he'd be, like, in the kitchen, dancing around, like, doing this with his hands, like, oh yeah, Mom's making my favorite meatloaf. And then he would bring it upstairs. He had it with, like, a fork, like a caveman, and just, like, just the meatloaf, that's it. Like, I think she always made, like, potatoes or something with it, like some sides, but... Man, I hated that group of guys. They were so mean. They've done some pretty messed up shit to women in the area, and to me, too. It's just funny, it made me think of that guy. They eventually broke up. They were so obsessed with each other. Oh my God. He even had, like, a little stash, like a little mobster stash. I don't know, like from the Godfather, exactly. Anyway, well, one day this new girl came to our school, okay? I became best friends with her just like that. He was mean. Like, I brought her to one of the parties at his place, Meatloaf Mobster's place. They were horrible to her. Like, people just, like, were so mean to her for no reason. They just like to be jerks. Like, they thought it was cool. Like, I'm not kidding. My friend was, like, a tough girl, and she was not taking that crap. So she openly disrespected him, and how dare you disrespect the Godfather? How dare you disrespect the Godfather? One time in economics class, oh my God, that was the worst class. That's the one with the teacher who was rumored to put peanut butter down there and let her dog lick it. Probably not true, but kids were mean, especially to teachers. If you were a crappy teacher, like, she was so mean. So, we're in class, we're bored. We, like, sometimes drew pictures, and drew a picture of the teacher with a dog. So wrong. You get the idea. Then she drew a picture of the Meatloaf Mobster guy. I know I wear the same shirts a lot, okay, I know. But he got this pair of pants. They were, like, a really good, like, I don't know if you remember back in the day, like, Mavies and Silvers pants, like, jeans were, like, in. He got a pair of Silvers. I think they were Silvers. And he wore them all the time. The whole year. I've never seen him wear anything else. Maybe he watched them every night. Whatever. You know, and it was kind of a jerk thing to do, but we hated the guy. We were like, if he's so badass, he's wearing the same pants all the time, you know? Just looking for anything to, like, cut him down. Anyway, my good friend, who we were making fun of the mobster with, she ended up dating the mobster's, one of his really close friends. And this traitor, so loyal to the boss, my best friend was making fun of him, like, oh, I can't believe you hang out with that guy. He always wears the same pants. He told him. So the next day at school in the locker room, he's waiting by our locker, like I had my locker beside her, and he's like, yeah, what are you doing? I guess I wear the same pants, don't I? All the time, huh? And we're just like... And he was calling us names. He's like, you know, I'd expect better from you. Oh, right, because, you know, you showed me so much respect in my life. I guess maybe if, like, we'd be at a party and a dude wanted to be, like, really mean to me, or somebody was, like, picking on me, he would stop them because my friend would ask him to. So we're at school. The punishment for something like this, talking smack about him, was to be spit on. No joke. So for me, I got off easy because, again, I was, you know, the friend of his lover, and she was like, don't you dare spit on Chantal, don't you dare do that. But she didn't. She was only able to make a little dent in his decision because he's like, so for you, I'm gonna spit on your lock, like the lock on my locker. I was like, whatever, you know. But my friend, he's like, but your friend, I'm gonna have to spit in her face. I was like mad, and I was like, you know, like told my friend, his girlfriend, I'm like, you're gonna let this happen? Like, threaten to break up with him or something. Like, threaten to withhold BJ's for a month. I'm sure he can't go without that. And I can tell you how many times they did it because I got banished to the room, remember? So, oh man, and this friend who I used to be friends with, and then drama happened, and now she's like, hates my guts. But she knows what I'm talking about with the stories, with these people. She's been through it. Oh yeah, I can't. Even though we don't talk anymore, I still feel bad. These guys put us through so much. Anyway, so he spits. He misses her face. I can tell he's not not used to being disrespected, I guess. He doesn't have practice. He ends up like spitting like somewhere, I don't know, a little bit of spit. She's a tough girl. She won't take it. She doesn't care if you're the godfather or not. Like, she gathers up a lot of spit, spits right back at him, and it goes all over his like jacket, his pants. And she's like, I guess you're gonna have to wash them now, eh, bitch? Oh my god. I was like, yes! Anyway, whatever happened, I was like, oh, this is either gonna get a lot worse for her, or it's gonna get better. And I think it got better for her. Like, she stood her ground. They didn't seem to bother her after that. Like, they sort of respected her for that. So, yeah. I mean, as we got older, I think they realized how they were, and they just matured more. Like, we all matured more. Not much more, but, you know, they just got nicer, I guess. Like, I'd see them at parties, and they would talk to me, and one of them tried hitting on me, and I was like, yeah, no thanks. One of them even apologized to me, like one of the worst ones, really apologized to me and seemed really sincere because he was drunk. You know, the truth comes out when you've been drinking, and I think maybe his conscience, it like kind of haunted him. How mean he was. I accepted the apology, but I'll never forget. It's not like I'm just gonna go into the room with you and you know, and act like nothing ever happened. Just the fact that they ever treated women like that was so just a big turnoff to me, you know? And I think if anything, if there's any silver lining or I've learned anything from that, is what I didn't want in a relationship. And that's why I went out of my way to avoid men like that. You know, just the very chauvinistic, abusive type of man. And I always went with softer men, like kinder men, you know? Sometimes I overpowered them in the relationship, I feel like, which I don't really like either. But I've learned a lot, like even from my relationship, even if it didn't work out, some things are just really important, like communication. And like Pete's was really, he's a really good guy. He would never, ever treat a woman like that, you know, and BB too, like never. Like the Meatloaf mobster, oh yeah, my mom's meatloaf, oh yeah, was very, very nice to my friend, to his girlfriend. But if that was my boyfriend, if I saw how he treated other women, that would be such a big turnoff for me. Do you know what I'm saying? But hey, to each their own, I guess, eh? Anyway, I'm like full. As you can tell, I haven't eaten anything in a few minutes, but my story time still goes on. Honestly, this was very delicious, but I wasn't in the mood for takeout. Like, I wanted to make my meatloaf. I had the pot ready to boil the mashed potatoes. Anyways, I guess that's it. Just been talking a lot. Yeah, so Meatloaf reminded me of Meatloaf Mobster. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys!